I'm Jennifer, here with Handi Quilter Ambassador Angela Walters. And we're talking about some special stitches you might want to learn for your long arm machine quilting to fill in some of those sashing and block areas.
And today we're going to be talking about arcs, because when I'm working on a quilt, I want to find something that's fast and easy, but still has a really neat look. And here you can see that I'm taking that basic straight line, piano key type design, and just adding a nice little curve to it.
But how do you travel when you're doing the arc design?
It's kind of hard to see how it goes together when you see it on here, but if you take a look, I just so happen to have a sample right here that shows you the arc design, and you can see that you actually alternate sides. So I quilt my curve, travel, and then continue working my way across that way. And what's so great about this design is it does work great in sashings or narrow borders, but it also works in those irregular shaped blocks as well, such as wedges or improvisationally pieced blocks, because you can easily go from smaller to larger.
And do you have any tips for how to make sure you stay sort of even in your distance of the arcs?
Well, unfortunately, the biggest tip I have is practice, which I know is probably not the answer that you want to hear. But if you use the foot as a guide as well, so as you come here, travel up about 1/4 inch of like your hopping foot, and then just continue, you'll find that you can get into a nice rhythm and get that spacing consistent.
So you're stitching in the ditch along one side of the arc, but it's really every other arc, depending on which side you're on. Would you go back and finish that if that was the edge of a block?
I probably would, because I like the way stitching in the ditch kind of holds the whole block down, but that's a personal preference. If you just quilted it like this, I think it might be just fine.
All right, well, let's see the machine in action.
So here, I just so happened to already have a wedge quilted out and ready to go. And what I'm going to do is just start from the bottom and start quilting my arcs, showing you how to do that little travel stitch to get you a nice arc. And the reason that we travel along the edges is we don't want it to come to points. We want it to look like it's, you know, echoing it. And when I'm doing my curve, it's just a gentle curve like this. And I'm just working my way up. And as you can see, since it goes from side to side, it's really easy to fill the irregular shapes. And just continue work. A fun variation that you could do of this is if you can alternate directions. So one wedge, you can have it, you know, going up this way. The next one,
Sort of like hills and valleys.
Yes, and it makes a really neat effect.
So Angela, you've got a way for us to combine the arc design with another design, the wavy line design, and use it in combination.
Yes, and I'm actually going to draw that out for you. And what's different about the arc that I'm doing in this variation is instead of traveling, I'm actually tucking it into the line. But let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's imagine that we have a couple wavy lines that we've already quilted, and we want to fill in between them with the arc shape. And what's really great about it is it has a contrast in direction. So you have your horizontal, your vertical, and your horizontal, and it makes a really nice look. Well, before, when we've talked about the arcs, I've kind of traveled like this. But you could actually tuck it in here where it's almost like it's going to merge into this line. And then you can just quickly fill that in, tucking it. So you see the arc is a little bit more pronounced, and you can quickly work your way across. And tucking it in there gives it that look that it's really kind of going behind.
A little bit sharper edge than the other design. And that's one that you've used on this quilt behind us, and I love the finished look of it.
Just one little tweak gives it a completely different look.
Terrific. Well, arcs are something that every quilter should add to her arsenal of stitches. It's a great alternative to stippling and loops, and something else that you can try to add interest and texture to your finished quilts.